Welcome everybody, hope you're doing well, and welcome back to another mindful movement session here. As I said last week, I think I did anyway, whatever you can or can't do, just go with what you can do today. And if it's something that you can't do, please just have a rest, take a break, do whatever you can do. And it goes with some of the movements as well. If we're going for a particular range of motion that you can't do, feel free to do a reduced version of it. If I can see that you're particularly struggling with something or can't do something, I'll try and give adaptations on the go as we're doing it. And I'll try and give adaptations anyway, just to help you along the way. But if you have any comments, questions or concerns, you can either pop them in the chat or you can always email after the session as well. Email Liz and she can forward it on to me so we can make these sessions as good as they can be for you. Yeah, so that is the introduction for this, and it doesn't look like there's anybody I can see that's new here today. So I won't give an introduction to myself and we can get straight into it here. So first of all, let's make sure we're in a nice comfortable position. Whatever adjustments that you need to make to get yourself into that comfortable position, do so now, and then when you're ready to, you can start some breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and relax it down. And up to you whether you want to keep your eyes open or your eyes closed, but however you feel like it's going to help you to focus and to relax on the breathing now, do so. If you can, try and make that out breath longer than the in breath. So in through the nose, and as you breathe out, slowing it down. Keep that breathing going, and let's set some good intentions for the session ahead. Reminding ourselves to stay present in the moment, to focus on the breathing, the mobility drills, the balance stuff that we'll be going through today. And that's our focus. We don't need to worry about what we're doing after the session, what we were doing before the session. We focus on the here and now. And as we go through each exercise, just understanding that that is your priority in the moment. You've turned up, you've come to do the session. Now it's time to focus on the session and to enjoy it at the same time. With that attitude, we make the most of our session, which helps us to understand how we're moving, how we're breathing, and with better focus. To keep that breathing going. Again, you can keep your eyes open or keep them closed wherever you are. And as you breathe in, I want you to shrug up with the shoulders. And as you breathe out, relaxing down. In your own time, in your own breath, however long it takes you to breathe in, that's how long it takes to shrug up. However long it takes you to breathe out, that's how you shrug down. Now we're going to go and start with our spinal mobility today. We're going to start with our neck and then work through the rest of our spine afterwards. So similar to what we do in our other sessions, but slowing it down slightly. So start with some looking down, looking up, and just gently gliding back and forth between the two, mobilizing that neck. As we look up, we're extending. And as we look down, we're flexing. That's 2 of the 4 movements that our neck does. Nice, gentle gliding, no rush here. Whatever feels comfortable for you, that's what's right. And next time you find yourself looking down, let's hold that position just for a little bit here. And just let that neck really just relax down. Feel this, maybe a bit of a stretch down the back of your neck as you do so. And breathe into this still here. As you breathe out, let that neck relax down a little bit more, as long as it feels comfortable. And ease out of it. Let's go back to looking up and down again for a few more. And then when you're ready to, let's look up towards the sky and feel the stretch through the front of the neck here. If you want to increase that stretch a little bit, make sure your mouth is closed for a start. And everything we can do, just pull slightly down on the neck here, so put a sort of hand on the collarbone area, or pull it down, look up, and you sort of feel a bit more of a stretch there. Easing out of it again. Let's do a couple more looking up and downs just to ease ourselves out of that. And now let's go into looking side to side. One side, then the other, back and forth between the two. Nice and gentle and controlled. And next time you find yourself looking to the left, holding that stretch there and feeling it a little bit more with the stretch. Now we can increase this. We can bring one arm back slightly, so you open up that chest a little bit. And again, we can hold that collarbone down as we look to the side, and that's just going to increase the stretch. You sort of feel it, if you're looking to the left, you sort of feel it on the right side of the front of your neck. You hold on the collarbone as you do so. Loads of muscles here in the neck that do lots of different things. So we can, by moving it through these range of motion, increase that stretch, we can hit a good majority of them. Let's ease out of it there, looking side to side again a couple more times. And next time you find yourself looking to the right, holding it there, make sure the left shoulder is back to increase that stretch. Hand on the left collarbone, it will help stretch it a little bit more. I'll come a little bit closer and show you exactly what I mean by holding onto the collarbone. So you see here, as I look, I'm sort of like pulling down the muscle a little bit and then holding my hand, or in this case, my thumb, on the collarbone. And that just increases that stretch there a little bit. And easing out of it there, looking side to side a couple of times. And on the next one, let's go into bringing one ear to one shoulder, one ear to the other shoulder, and back and forth between the two. These first little movements here are just mobilizing that joint, getting it ready to move, and to hold that stretch when we get to it. It's sort of like we're warming up a little bit. That makes it a bit more pliable, easier to stretch, and it's a bit more ready for the stretch as well. Okay, next time you find your left ear come into your left shoulder, holding it there, and with your right arm, drop it down to the floor, feeling that stretch a little bit more. And another thing that I like to do whilst I'm in this position is just sort of I keep my left ear to my left shoulder, but I'll be rocking the head back and forth a little bit. And I find there's different areas that you can feel a bit more of a stretch in. So almost like you're coming forwards, you can feel it a little bit different area. Bring it back and it sort of shifts. And you can have a play around here, what feels right, what feels good, where you can feel that stretch. As I said, there's lots of muscles here in the neck. And by moving it around a little bit, we just adjust it onto different muscles, different fibers within the muscles. Good. Let's ease out of that. It might feel a bit funny with that one because it's a bit more of a deep stretch. So let's go back and forth between the two. And then the next time you find your right ear coming to your right shoulder, holding it there, left hand drops down. Feel that stretch. And again, if you want to, you can rock the head back and forth whilst it's leant over. Find the position that feels good. Find where you get a bit more of a deeper stretch. Easing out to it there. And give it a couple of ears to shoulders. And again, it might feel a bit weird because it can be quite a deep stretch. So sometimes it feels a bit weird when you come out of it. So just easing it off when you can. And now let's go into the rest of our spine. So I'm going to face sideways just to show you. And sorry, background's a bit dark from my t-shirt being dark, but we're going to go through some flexion extension. So to extend, we extend through there, get an arch in the spine, and as we flex, we come down, curling over. So my analogy I like to give is curling over like a prawn. And then you arch back like a high jumper. And you go back and forth between the two here. Again, nice, gentle, nice, slow movements. There's no rush here. If you are struggling with pulling yourself through on the frame there, you can always use your backrest a little bit more by sitting up straight, curving forwards, using your arms as support if you need to. But just try and think about that spine almost like a slinky. It doesn't just bend in one position, it curls over, and each individual vertebra is almost like the individual rings on the spring of a slinky. That's how I want your spine to be. So picturing that in your mind as you're doing so. Good, easing out a bit there. Let's go into some rotation if you can. So we rotate around one side, around to the other side, and back and forth between the two. Only go with what feels comfortable here. And if you don't have sensation in that area, just go until you sort of feel a bit of resistance and then go back and forth. We don't want to overdo it here. It can be quite easy to do so sometimes. So it's nice, comfortable movements. Put any extra stress or strain, we just want to mobilize here. And the other thing I want you to picture as you're doing this is almost like here your spine is like a towel that's wet and you're wringing it out. And as you do so, you stretch it out. So you're not just turning, you're turning and reaching your head, your spine up towards the ceiling as you do so. So bringing it out and then round to the other side. Good, everybody. Let's go into some lateral flexion now. That's where we reach down to one side. And then reaching down to the other side. And as you do so, don't let yourself lean forwards. Don't let yourself lean back. Sit nice up straight here. And almost imagine you've got like a pane of glass in front of you, pane of glass behind you, and you're in between it, and you're sliding down and touching ground. And as again, another point here is you don't want to just bend over, want to curl over to the side. Work, and we're going to come around like we're in a whirlpool. Now you guys are in the northern hemisphere and I'm in the southern hemisphere, so we're obviously going to be going the opposite way around. But whichever direction you're going now, let's switch it and go the other way. And then give it all that a little bit of a shake out there. Good, okay. If you need a drink, if you want to just quickly grab one, you've got time now. For this next bit, we are going to do some, still to do with spinal mobility, we're going to involve our shoulders and our arms and a bit more of our upper body now, and do a little bit of a flow. So to do this, we're going to go and stay. Today it's a progression thing, and in future weeks we'll add on to it as such. I'm going to guide you through the sort of first little bit that we're going to do here, and we'll add on a little bit as we go on today as well. So the first thing we do is coming right the way down to the floor and just relaxing here. Then from there we come up, but we come up with a flat back, and we come up only about halfway. So left hand towards the side, you can see back nice and flat, up straight, sort of almost at a 45-degree angle. Then we come back down again, all the way to the floor, relaxing down. And next time we come up, you're almost going to curl up, and we're going to imagine each vertebrae is stacking on top of each other one by one. So we go do, 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 do. The neck stays down as you do so, and that's the last thing that finishes off the movement. And then we're going to go right the way back down and do that all again. So we come all the way to the bottom, coming up with a flat back. And if you haven't already started, you can join in now. Going back down and slowly coming up with a curl back. Vertebrae stacks on top of vertebrae, neck finishes off the movement, looking forwards, and then going all the way back down. Reach to the floor, relaxing down, up with a flat back. Going back down, up with the curl back, stacking those vertebrae. Excellent work. Keep that going. I'm just going to keep an eye on you as you're doing so. So remember, all the way to the floor, up with a flat back down, up with a curl back, repeat through. Just watching there. Keep it nice and slow, a nice turn. There's no rush here at all. And just excellent work. But really focus on that one where we're curling up. As you know, like when you see a skeleton, there's the spine, it's got lots of bones on top of each other. When you curled over, those are curled over. Now I need to imagine as you're curling up, like the bottom one's coming and then the next one's stacking on top, and they're stack. And the last bit that comes up is the neck to finish off the movement there. Good, I'm going to join back in with you there. Let's keep that going at the pace you're doing. If you can't lean all the way forwards as well, just get to where you can on this. You don't have to reach the floor, like touch the floor, but I've got really long arms, so it's very easy for me to do so. Also depends on the chair you sat in and many other factors. So just lean forwards the best you can. You may not have the flexibility to do so, but just do what you can here. And as you're doing it, curling up, just doing it the best you can. If you need to use your arms to help you up as well, not a problem. Do what you can do here. Good work. Okay, finish the one you are on. And we are going to just add in another little bit, but I'm going to wait for everybody to finish the one they're on, which looks like most people are now, which is good. Cool. Okay, so we'll do the same thing again. So it'll be down, up with a flat back. But as we curl up on the second bit, we come up, hands together in a prayer position. We're going to reach up. Sorry, I got spasmed in 1 second. So as we come up, curl back, hands together, reaching up towards the sky, out and around. And then when we come back here, we're almost going to dive down again, reaching down to the floor and repeating through. So up with a flat back down, up with the curl back, stack those vertebrae still, palms together, reaching up towards the sky, out, around, And going back down again, keep going through that there. I'm just going to make it a little bit brighter in here so you can see me better. Good. And I'm going to watch you as well for a second. Good. Put those palms together as you reach up as high as you can, whatever that looks like. If you can't fully extend above your head, that's fine. If it's only in front of your face, that's fine. Around, down, and when you come back down, you go all the way to the bottom and start again. Fantastic. Finishing the one you're on there. Excellent work. Okay, so we are going to do a little bit more in our arms, but have a little drink break first. I'm going to grab my drink and feel free to do the same. And then we move on to that bit. Good stuff so far, everybody. Looks like you're doing some good movement there. We're going to continue some movement in our arms. And this is going to be very, very similar to our warm-up that we would usually do. And the reason we're doing this little bit of a warm-up, I mean, in our cardio sessions, how we warm up. And the reason we're doing this is because we're going to be doing some stretches afterwards. But the warmer our muscles are, the more pliable they are, the easier they are to stretch, the less likely they are to injure ourselves during the stretching phase. So we're going to do some warm-up here. But we're going to do it a lot slower than we normally would, just nice and controlled movements. So, as we normally would here, we're going to do a circle round the best we can, just nice, slow, gentle movements, getting them round the best you can. As always, if you can't get a full big circle with this, even if it's a smaller one, we just want to get that arm moving. That's going to help us in the long run here. Welcome to those who have just joined in, just join in where you're ready to. Probably a good point to jump in. Just getting that arm going around the best you can. Nice, gentle movements. And then with that same arm, let's go the opposite way around. And again, if you can't get a full circle, a smaller one's fine. I can see Liz is doing it with her hand in a bit closer, so that's another option for you there, just to make it easier. It's as long as it's nice, slow, controlled, and we're warming up those muscles there. Let's swap over to the other arm now. Get that one going around. Slow, controlled movements. Just gonna maybe see a little bit more now. Which is what everybody wants, of course. Good work. Okay, next we're going to go on to reaching over towards the opposite shoulder, coming back out, reaching over again, and remembering if you can't get all the way over, just get to where you can. If that's the near shoulder, that's fine. Or if it's coming across the front instead, if you need to. Essentially, you want to get some elbow bend in there. So wherever you go into, try and bend that elbow fully. You might even find a little bit of a stretch in the tricep as you do so. Work. Good. Taking one arm now, reaching forwards, up above the head, reach up the best you can, and bring it back down. Reaching up, down. And again, you might feel a bit of a stretch as you do this. As you reach up, you'll feel it a little bit, if you can feel there, down top the back of your armpit in your lats. And as you bring it down and back, you might feel a little bit of a stretch in the front of the shoulder as well. Let's change to the other side. One in. Good. Let's bring it in for a hug. Really squeeze it as tight as you can. Arms out to the side. And back in. Beating through. Good. And then just doing some shoulder rotations. Change direction. Good. Okay, so we should be a little bit more warmed up, a little bit more pliable in those joints, those muscles. Let's dive straight into it before we cool down. So the first one here, what I want you to do is to have your hands either on your hips, on the wheels of your wheelchair, whatever you've got here, on the seat, wherever you can hold them. And what we do, let me come in line. So we push the elbows forwards as best we can. And for that, you should feel a bit of a stretch in the back of your shoulders there. And we're going to hold that for about 10 seconds. So just count in your own head in your own time. And then once you've done 10, you're going to switch it around and you're going to bring those elbows back behind you. Try and squeeze them together, lift the chest up and forwards as you do so. And again, Hold it for 10 seconds, counting there.
Hey Ben,
Yes.
if you're in a power chair and you can't get your elbows back, could you just sort of squeeze your shoulders back and squeeze your scapula
Yes.
together?
Yes, you could do that, and you could also even lean forward slightly if that helps you to get your elbows back a little bit more. Just find ways that you can sort of get them back. Yeah, sorry, I've got a very skinny back of the chair, so I've not experienced a power chair back before. But yeah, you can either lean forwards a bit or just put your hands maybe further back, whatever you can do just to sort of squeeze those shoulder blades together, open up that chest the best you can. Again, once done 10 seconds in one way, go back to the front again and just count 10 seconds. And we're gonna go back and forth. I'll let you know when we're finishing, just counting roughly 10 seconds in your head for forwards, 10 seconds in your head for backwards. Again, you could, on the squeezing backwards, if you can't get your elbows together, you can always have your hands down by your side or resting, squeeze those shoulder blades together and just draw the arms back as best you can. So just some options there to, the main thing is to open up that chest as best you can. This kind of just helps guide the movement if we're trying to get those elbows together. You probably feel a bit more of a stretch on the one where we push our elbows forwards. And you sort of feel it sort of like deep in the shoulder, but more towards the back. And that's good. We're stretching a little bit of the rear deltoid there. We're stretching a little bit of a rotator cuff muscle as well. And what else is there? There's another muscle called the teres major that's getting stretched there as well, but we're starting to get into a bit more complicated things there. So I'll try and keep it simple, otherwise we'll end up having a anatomy lesson. So wherever you're at now, let's finish the one we're on and relax it down. Good. We're going to put that focus down. So the focus there was sort of in this region for the one we're pushing the hands forwards, and sort of up a bit of the chest here for the other, bringing those elbows back. We're going to move our way down the back a little bit more and work on our lats. And to do that, we stretch over to one side the best we can. Now, if you can't get your arm up and over, the other option is to come across the front of you and reach forwards a bit like that. But what I want you to do is try and get your arm up as high as you can with this, up to a certain sort of, once you're sort of here, we don't need to go any further up. And then we reach over, and if you can feel it, you should feel the stretch sort of from the back of the armpit down to sort of halfway, most of the way down the rib cage at the back anyway. And this is sort of stretching the lat muscles. These are the big ones at the back, responsible for a lot of pulling movements. And then ease out of it. And again, I always sort of count roughly around about 10 seconds on each side. We don't have to be perfect with our counting, just roughly around about 10. Going back and forth between the two. Doing really good there. Feel that stretch. We'll do one more on each side wherever you're at. Good, okay, we're going to try and stretch our rotator cuff a little bit more here. So we sort of stretched one side of it, we're going to sort of stretch some of the other. So there's 4 rotator cuff muscles in the shoulders, 3 rotator outwards, 1 rotator inwards. We're going to focus on all of them on this next stretch here in 2 different movements anyway. And to do this, we're going to have the elbow up high, around about shoulder height. And then from here, if I could do a thumbs up, I'll do a thumbs up right now. And then I'll point that thumb behind me like so. Almost like I'm I'm trying to throw a baseball. And then as you rotate it back, you'll feel that stretch deep within that shoulder joint. Just like so. So if I turn to the side this side now, just to show you. So arm upper parallel, almost like we're flexing a bicep. But then we rotate that hand back behind us. And you should really feel sort of deep inside there. If that's too much to hold out to the side, you can hold it in front a little bit more, but you will feel a bit more of a stretch if you have it out to the side. Good, then ease out a bit there, and then we come all the way around and do the other way. So we come here again. So we've come from this position, we're coming right the way down, and then we feel less of a stretch here on this one. And then just holding it there. Roughly around about 10 seconds, easing out a bit, and then going on to the other arm. So again, almost like you're flexing a bicep here, and then rotate that arm backwards. Again, I'll turn to the side so you can see it there. It's here, rotating it back. Again, if that's too much to hold, you can always bring it down lower. Keep the elbow down rested if it's too much to hold it high. But you will feel a little bit more of a stretch if you have it. There's options for you. And then once you've done 10 seconds, bringing it down best you can. And again, you won't feel probably as much of a stretch in this way. There is a reason for that, which is that when we are, let's go back to the other side again. So as we bring this one back, as it's up higher, we're stretching the internal rotator muscle, which there's only one of. And that one is the one that we use most of the day pushing a wheelchair, if you're a manual wheelchair. If you're using a computer on your phone, you're internally rotating a lot more. So then what happens is that muscle gets used more, so it feels like it needs a bit more of a stretch. Whereas the other muscles sort of kind of get a little bit more lengthened, which is the rear one, and there's 3 of them as well, so they can support each other a bit more. So let's go on to bring it right the way down now. This one feels a little bit less. Some of you may feel it more than others, and that's fine. Now, so one more on this side now. First we're reaching up and back. And then bringing it down. Easing out a bit there. Good. Give it a little bit of a shake off. Okay, well, A little bit more drink and we'll go into the final bit of today's session. And for this final bit, we're just going to do a little bit of some work that's very similar to Tai Chi. It's not exactly Tai Chi because Tai Chi involves foot movement a lot. And obviously I'm not going to be demonstrating that, and I don't think many of us will be able to do it here if we wanted to. So we're going to stick with the upper body part of it, and we sort of mix and match in some other movements to help us. But we're going to start with some basic stuff. We'll add a little bit more on, and then in the coming weeks we'll add even more on as well. So essentially what I want you to do here is to do nice, slow movements, and almost like your hands, your arms here are paintbrushes, and you're gliding them along a canvas. I don't want you to sort of just jerk your way through the movements. It's nice, gliding movements. Another way to think of it is imagine like you're underwater, and like you've got that little bit of resistance, and that's going to help you to just move nice and slowly. So to do this, we first of all get our hands nice and relaxed, and then we bring those hands nice and gentle up to our eye level, and then bring them back down again. Nice and simple. So this is our first movement here. We're just bringing them up, and then bringing it down. And again, we nice, slow, gentle movements. Now, everything in Tai Chi seems to have a story linked to it. And this is step one in story one, essentially, which is the sun rises and the sun sets. That's it, nice and simple. Sun rises, sun sets. Now we're going to add in another little bit. So sun rises over the mountain. So we come out to the side and then bring it back in. Up again to the front, and then back. Sun rises over the mountains now, and sunsets. Back to the front. And with this, it's always to one side when we come up. And it's to represent how the sun rises in the sky in different days of the year. It comes to one side, and then eventually it comes back to the middle again. Seasons change, good. Okay, so we start from the beginning. So let's all do this together. So we're going to add in another little bit now. So we're going sun rises, sun sets. Sun rises over the mountains, and I want you to hold it at the top here. The left hand drops down, the right hand curls around, almost like you're dancing with somebody here, like that. And what we're going to do is drift over to the other side, and this is clouds drifting across the sky. Hands swap over, drifts back again, and then one more time, swaps position, comes across. Good, let's go back to the beginning again. Let's start from the beginning to rise the hands up. Sun rises, sun sets. Sun rises over the mountains. The clouds form. You drift across. Again. And there's technically a rule in Tai Chi is that your hands don't come above your eye level. So wherever we bring the hands to, make sure it's in line at least with the eyes, no higher, keep it lower. So we don't have our arms up here, In nice level here. So again, let's go from the beginning, nice and simple. Bring the hands up, bring them down. Like sun rising, sunset, sun rises over the mountains. The clouds form as it drifts. One, and again. Remember to switch the hands each time. And relaxing there. Let's go through that one more time. Sun rises. Sunsets. Rises over the mountains. The clouds form. Okay, good. Give that a little shake off. So that's the start of that, and there's more we can add on as we go through it. But let's bring this session to a close with a little bit of a meditation thing here. We're going to focus on our breathing today to do that. So get yourself a nice comfortable position. When you're ready to, just breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, in your own time, in your own pace. Eventually, whenever you feel like you're ready to, you can start to close those eyes down as well. Keep the breathing going. I'm just going to explain how we're going to do this last little bit of breathing. And if you already know how to do it, feel free to go in your own time, your own pace, but we're going to do some box breathing here. What box breathing is when we breathe in for 4 seconds, we hold our breath in for 4 seconds, we breathe out for 4 seconds, and then we hold it out for 4 seconds. And I'm going to guide you here as we go through this. So we're going to start with the breathing in. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath out, 2, 3, 4, breathing in now, 2, 3, 4, hold it in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath out, 2, 3, 4, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold it in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath out, 2, 3, 4, one more time, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold it in, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, and return your breathing to normal, going in through the nose, out through the mouth, relaxing it down again. And what we do with the box breathing is we take control of our breath. We have ultimate control over when we're breathing in, when we're breathing out. We're dictating that. What that does is allows our mind to focus on that single task. It takes us out of whatever situation we're in, and it helps us to relax. Really fantastic tool for if you're ever feeling stressed or anxious or whatever it may be. Box breathing is a great go-to for this. So keeping your eyes closed here, keep the breathing going, nice and relaxed. We're just going to close down the session with some positive words to ourselves to remind us of the positivity of these sessions. So first of all, just thank yourself for being here today, for turning up, doing the session, putting the effort in that you required to, focusing on being in the present moment, not worrying about what came before, what you're doing next, but being here in the moment. If you feel like you could have done better on that, that's okay. There's always room for improvement on these things. Remember the next time we come, where to focus, where the points that you feel like your mind drifts, Just focus on bringing it back. Mind drifting is a perfectly normal, natural thing. Happens to all of us. It's just learning how to bring it back to the task at hand. And that's the focus on this. So again, thank yourself for being here today. You turned up, you did the session. From my eyes, what I saw, you guys are doing great. It's a really good job here today. Keep that breathing going as you're doing this. And if there's any other way you want to thank yourself, pat yourself on the back, saying thank you, saying well done, whatever it is, do that now. As we slowly start to open our eyes again, come back to normal, and finish today's session. Really good job, everybody. Some fantastic movement there.